No, North America, especially USA, is very expensive.
Yes.
And now the MBA is taking a knocking in the USA as a result of the crisis of 2007, 2008, 2009, the financial crisis which almost crippled the world.
Yes.
And the reason for that, most of these guys who were wheeling and dealing on the stock exchange and as considered themselves specialists, financial analysts, etc. They're the ones who were responsible for all this speculation.
Yes.
And it's now being claimed that they have to be extremely careful, because one of the deficiencies they discovered in the whole of the US, maybe the same in Canada, UK, is that the courses does not cater for certain elements. One is your ability not only to do business, but greed steps in.
Yes. Yes.
And that greed is overwhelming. So there's no ethics at all in the curriculum.
Yes.
So ethics is absolutely essential in anything you do with either finance or an MBA course.
Yes. Yeah.
And I hope that the Australian Institute would also be insisting that ethics must be included as part and parcel of the learning material.
Yeah.
Because without ethics, you think you could do as you like, and this is
Absolutely.
what happened in the US.
Absolutely.
Almost brought the world to its knees.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's part of the curriculum,
Sure.
but it should be.
Well, I think one of the key ideas behind our coming to Guyana was we certainly didn't come to Guyana as business entrepreneurs, particularly when you think of the climate of Guyana in the late 70s when we arrived. And the spirit behind the establishment of nations was to try to put the values that we believe in, we happen to be Baha'is, but to try to translate those spiritual values into practice, which we try to do in the school through service projects, through the development of different attributes, and then to also infuse that into the higher education part of the program as well, because as you say, if that aspect of the program is missing, then all we're going to do is to add to the chaos that's going on internationally in the business field.
Yeah.
So I think one of the other key features of the course is having these guest lecturers come in to balance those aspects, to make sure that these real issues are addressed.
And it's not just a platform. You get an MBA for dealing and wheeling and dealing in money, and you have nothing concrete to give.
Yes.
At the end of the day, this big speculation in housing and selling inflated houses as an investment, not only in the USA, but in Europe,
Across the world,
and across the world, and I think that was a real calamity.
Yeah. Ireland is a good example of that.
Ireland is now suffering for that
Yeah,
heavily.
absolutely. Absolutely. People's lives have been decimated.
And that's the reason what saved Asia. Otherwise, Asia would have been carried away in the same direction. And then the world would have gone straight downwards, a recession of world dimensions.
Well, let's hope that some of the thinking behind this program can be at least a beginning to at least redress some of those issues, look at them, think about them, and to see how do we create a new dynamism within Guyana? How do we create a new spirit within the business community? So I think there's some very interesting possibilities. And certainly the response to the program has been tremendous. The phone is ringing.
Yes.
There have been very good articles in Guyana Times, in the Chronicle. This program, there's also going to be coverage on Let's Gaff on the radio. So obviously there's lots of interest, and I think one of the key things about the Guyanese people is their real belief in education as a way out of some of the limitations.
Well, education is indeed, not only in Guyana, any part of the world. Education is the way out of poverty.
Yes.
Now, when you think of what Lee Kuan Yew has done in Singapore, the emphasis that he had placed on education from day one when he took over has paid dividends tenfold.
Yeah.
Korea followed the same example. Taiwan did the same. And the reason for those countries now, Malaysia,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
are now booming. It's a result of they emphasize everything in education, but not in only in basic education, but technical education at the same time.
Yes.
So if you decided that you're going to open up your doors for investment, you have the people at all levels who could fill the breach.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's most important.
Yeah.
Dr. O'Toole, I know we've covered to a greater degree the work you've done in education, and I must applaud you for the years, the 25 years you spent in Guyana, most of which has been in education one way or another, and helping people to help themselves. You know, I myself is very involved in that area, in other areas, strictly because I believe it's one way out that people could get out of poverty. And you do other work too as a Baha'i. I know you're doing an enormous job with some funding from Luxembourg and the west of Demerara in terms of helping young people who are wage earners at very early age. They're forced into it because there's no other way out,
Yes.
because the parents can't afford to keep them at home.
Uh-huh.
And you've been doing some highly laudable work on the west of Demerara.
Well, that's
How is
kind
that
of-
program going?
But we have a foundation, Varka Foundation, that's inspired by the Baha'i vision of how change can come about. And Varka Foundation addresses two programs primarily. One is On the Wings of Words, which is a literacy program. That's a program that has now trained several thousand people from one end of Guyana to another. And the other one is Youth Can Move the World, that looks at some of the challenges that face youth right across the world, whether it's problems of drugs, of HIV AIDS, problems of income generation, and it's trying to get them to examine what they can do in their own communities to bring about a difference. And as you say, we've been very fortunate that we've had funding from the European Union and from the Luxembourg government and the Luxembourg NGO, Unity Foundation, over the past 10 or 12 years that's allowed us to work not only in West Coast Demerara, but in fact right across Guyana.
Right across Guyana. But you started at West Coast Demerara. Well, that's a program that is laudable because youngsters are just being dumped and ignored,
Yeah.
especially the poverty of some families. And if we could do whatever we can do to help in that particular area, and you've been actually doing it for a number of years now, that should be continued. And there's absolute need to help those that cannot help themselves.
Yeah.
And I think this is, irrespective of what religion you belong to or philosophy you belong to or you believe in, the basic tenet is the same.
Yes.
We must
absolutely.
help our fellow men
Yeah.
to become self-supporting, better members of society. If we all do that in a little humble way,
Yeah.
the world would be a better place to live in.
Yes, absolutely.
Well said, the last word is with you because
No, just to really thank you for the opportunity to come on your program and to see some of these efforts as contributions to creating improvement within our society. And I think we can see it very clearly in the Tiger Bay community. So in that small microcosm, we can see people that have come together from very humble backgrounds that now see that life offers them more opportunities.
more
than
opportunities,
perhaps they
because
thought before.
there's nothing like education
Yeah,
to open the door.
indeed. So thanks very much for the opportunity for coming on your show, and we look forward to getting your input as one of the guest lecturers on our MBA program.
I will come for maybe one session.
That'd be excellent.
That I promise.
That'd be
The time.
excellent.
Excuse me. Time is a problem. You
Sure.
know, very, very limited. But I must say that Dr. O'Toole, you've done us justice in the sense you came here 35 years ago as a lecturer and psychologist, sociologist, many things roll into one. You work at a public hospital. You work at UG,
Yes, yeah, 9 years at UG. Yeah.
and you've had experience of Guyana, and you decide to stay on in Guyana.
Yes.
Because you and your wife, your main principles of this whole scheme of things. And I must say, well done, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work into the future. We need more people like you.
That's very kind.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.